We're recording.
Frisco Mountain Fire Department had to have it.
What happened?
Well, the front brake drum froze up. So rather than destroying the brake mechanism from inside of the inspection cover, I decided to have an identical wheel put on in reverse that matched the lug nuts, and jacked it up, and then this short piece of pipe here allowed me to load the chain tension with a pry bar. So now I'm all the way down with it pointed down there, and then I shoved this pry bar here in, and that's the coupler for this piece of pipe. And then I got a smaller piece of pipe that goes over the pry bar. So that's all hunky-dory. Then I chained it to this timber, and we've been commencing to lift it, and hopefully Jenna's going to stay away while I release the jacks with a little bit of something to hold it up, and we're going to commence to try and come back here. We're going to take this timber, tie it off on the back side on those rear wheels, hook it to this tree, put a hoist, and we're going to try pulling this timber up in the air. And if you see us on video doing that, you know we lived through it. Checking with you guys. Couldn't get the lug nuts off without getting the 1959 Ingersoll Rand going. Another set of points and condenser. It is somewhat of a nice contraption. Come on over here, Jenna. This thing's younger than me by 1 year. Flathead 4 Continental. Had the carburetor gone through. Mechanical fuel pump. This device here is lift up, down, and linked to the throttle. So when you need air, it will give some gasoline, and when you don't, it idles down. This is the air filter, which when you go around you'll see it's hooked up to the air pump. They call it a rotary gyro, and that is going to produce the air that goes into this tank here and holds the air. This is the gas fuel tank, and then we'll just wander around this side. This is the 49 Speed-X. And his 14-year-old son with the plow on the back could turn the vegetable garden. 12-cylinder, 12 horsepower Briggs & Stratton original single cylinder. We were getting air out of this bleeder, but it wasn't coming out these two. So Jenna removed the inspection cap, and there's a piston in here that locks the air shut with a spring. So that was stuck. And the square O-ring, like this one is a square O-ring, I guess, was available back at Ingersoll Rand, $6 plus 10 for shipping. We're taking that one off the dustbin at Ingersoll Rand home headquarters because we put a little air in here, removed the spring, tapped on this, and that piston came up against here. We got the piston out, cleaned it up. These are Chicago fittings, notorious for coming loose with these little cotter pins and flying around and killing people. This is, like I was saying, the air pump gets the air for the motor and for the air compressor through the same air filter. This, I think, is a resistor. It is supposed to make sure the points, which could have been for a 6-volt battery, if this is converted to 12, you've got to run it through a resistor or you burn up the points. If this resistor needs replacing, that's why I keep burning up points. So this oil cooler is cooled by the fan, but this is radiator coolant for the motor. This is oil-cooled air compressor. So go around here, and I'm sure you're all fascinated. This is the oil level gauge. This tank has air compressor oil in it. So out the end of the hose comes a small amount of oil. It's supposed to be up to here or something, I guess. Fascinating why Americans don't want to work, or why you can't get Americans to do that kind of work has a lot to do with this Harbor Freight fitting, which would not fit this hose because of the other fitting style, but Jenna found somebody to convert the Chicago fitting to this Harbor Freight piece of Chinese garbage that everybody has to have a Century pneumatic. And with it, we busted loose the reverse thread lug nuts on the fire truck, and with great frustration, we're going to break the drum that is stuck. All right, we'll call that good for phase 3.
Good job, Brien.